Hey there. Start here. So I know I said I wasn't going to do walkthrough guides for a while, but Bub still hasn't come, and I've spent basically the last couple of weeks getting everything sort of prepped and ready, for the Bub to come at any moment, and so yeah, just kind of sitting and waiting for the Bub to come into the world and say hello. So I figured I'll go ahead and just walk you through the team that I put together to take on Hyoh in the latest Dark Visions event. And this is not like gonna be like a top 100, 500 level team. This is just a team I wanted to use to get through it, and will hopefully keep me in the top 1,000. The team as it's built should pretty consistently do over 20 billion damage on the damage taken score, and on the damage dealt score, and should make it fairly easy to get through. Like there's no RNG or anything like that. It's just a very clean and simple do your damage burst on turn 5, kill them on turn 6, and get it done. So here's my best score. You see I do have a bit of damage received. There's a bit of RNG in that score. It all depends on if Hyoh does Stonga on turn 4. That's the only thing that could potentially push that damage received score less than perfect. Hopefully what we'll see in this one is that he won't do it. So he has a chance on turn 4 of doing either Firaga, Thundaga, or Stonga. If he does Firaga or Thundaga, it's fine. Esther will take 0 damage. If he does Stonga, Esther will take some damage, and that's really all it is. All right. So let's get in here. It is a fire team. We are using Esther to tank the damage. We're not doing any of that fancy like Avatars Plus crap where you can stuff an extra damage dealer in there. That's how the top rankers are getting their high scores, by foregoing the tank, using Avatars Plus to basically give everybody elemental resistance to all the elemental damage, so that they can then use an extra damage dealer. I'm not bothering him with all that stuff. I'm casual now, so I'm just going to take the casual way out and just do the best I can with the team that I have. I know already that the unit that everyone is going to ask me for a replacement for is Fina the Return. And sorry, I don't have a good replacement for you on that one. You could potentially bring someone like Malphase, who can at least give you... Malphase can at least give the team some bird killer, and then you can use somebody else as your buffer. You can give somebody like Zidane's STMR to do your buffs, your LB buffs, and all of that stuff. And then Malphase would at least deal some extra damage on the team and give you the bird killer. You could try, swapping in. You could do Malphase and then put like 2B in a slot, but then 2B doesn't have the leader skill. I don't know. I'm not getting into it. I'm using Fina the Return. I'll let you figure out who the best replacements are for her. Let's go through the gear here. We don't really need much on Fina the Return. Honestly, the only thing she needs is she actually doesn't even need this vision card. Esther can give her an Extreme Nova Chain, so honestly, she doesn't really need anything. I was going to try and build her for damage, but then I was like, that's worthless. She's not dealing that. No matter what you do, she's not really dealing damage here. You could if you're really trying to squeeze every last bit out. I'm not going that deep into it. So yeah, she really doesn't need anything. An EX2 is preferable, but you can get away with an EX1 or even an EX0 if you need to. Her normal LB still does a very good buff, 350% full buff, 250% LB damage. That's all you're really after. But if you have her EX2, you can use her SLB on turn 4 for the even bigger buffs. But an EX0 or EX1 is fine, perfectly fine. All right, because you can use her cooldown to fill up her LB gauge so that you make sure it's up and ready on turn 4 anyways. All right. Esther in her normal form, just to deal a little bit of damage. More importantly, you want to make sure she has 200% fire resist. That is the most important thing. So that is so she takes 0 damage on turn 4 and on turn 5. Because on turn 5 we're going to do a burst, but Hyoh has he has guts, so he'll basically guts out when you do your burst, and then he'll do a half heal. And so you have to be prepared to receive more damage on turn 5 after your burst. So she's got to have 200% fire resist to survive. All right. Yeah, and so Infernal Battle Garb is nice because it does 50%. Crimson Flame Crown is nice because it does 20%. Winged Heart is great because that does 60%. And then she's got Ifrit Esper equipped, and Ifrit has an extra. I did the extra 10% fire resist on my Ifrit. So I think where is that? The S. I'm pretty sure it's on here somewhere. Ah, well, she's got the extra 10% resist from Ifrit to get her to a full 200%. All right. She will deal a little bit of damage. She's not going to do much, especially because she's only got 200% avian and 200% human. So her killers aren't that great, but it's more important that she survives and takes no damage on turns 4 and 5 than it is for her to, max out her killers. All right, in her Brave Shift form, you want to try and equalize the defense and the spirit. She definitely needs, decent amount of spirit to go along with the defense, because she's going to take a bit of non-elemental magic damage on turn 1. So definitely make sure you bulk up both her defense and her spirit. She definitely needs at least 1 Blizzard Orb to make sure she fills up her LB. And she needs her TMR so that when she counters, it actually fills up her LB. This will also give her the 20 LB on turn 1, which she will need. And then she just needs, at least 100% Earth Resist, and at least, I want to say, what does he fill up? I think 100. Yeah, 100 and... well, as you'll see, 130% is fine. So what I used here is perfectly, all well and good to get her through. Okay. And that'll get her through everything that she needs. All right. So yeah, I just give her Wilk's vision card just because it's a strong vision card for her. If you have something better, obviously throw something better in there, and she might deal a little bit more damage, but she's not going to be your primary damage dealer. All right. So Rain in his normal form, we don't care. In his Brave Shift form, just give him, obviously as much EPing as you can. So he's got Clash Gear, Zax Gloves for high attack accessories. And then you're just, making sure... you definitely want to make sure everybody is paralyzed and confused resist. That's pretty important, because on turn 1, Hyoh will do paralyze and confuse to the whole party, so make sure everyone's resistant to those two. Otherwise, yeah, just maxing out his killers, which is very easy. Hateful Agent just for EPing stats. His own vision card because he's EX3. If you don't have it, just put the best vision card you have for him in that slot. So he's got full LB damage, full bird killer, and full human killer, because he is equipped with Azura, and Azura has 75% human and 75% bird killer, so then all you need is like Code of Samurai to do the 25% to both. All right. Genesis, obviously it has his own sword. Prophet's Diadem, still the best equipped for Genesis. As far as MP is concerned. Ruler's Regalia, just to increase his mag as much as possible. Magister's Ring, you don't necessarily need Magister's Ring if you have the Moonlit Parade of 1, because this does Chain Cat boost innately. Let me see, I think, is it this one? Yeah, so that does the Chain Cat boost. So if I truly cared about min-maxing here, I would switch that Magister's Ring to like an Emperor's Ring to give him slightly higher mag, but I don't really care. But if you, let's say you have, what's the other one? The Dazzling Demoness. If you had Dazzling Demoness, you would need the Magister's Ring for the Chain Cat boost. So, there it is. Pixie Dust, just high mag accessory. I gave him that new Soldier's Expertise because that's really great for this one, because he actually gets both of the buffs from it. So it gives him 50 MP, which is great, a 100% mag, which is fantastic, and 100% human killer. So you know, one of the buffs is restricted to the Final Fantasy VII units, and he is on that list. You do have to go and finish Safer Sephiroth and do an all missions clear in order to get that upgraded to level 2, but that's fairly simple and straightforward. All right, and then just a Bird Killer Plus to max out his Bird Killer. Sorry, he is 25% shy on the Bird Killer, so that's fine, but he's maxed out on the Human Killer. No big deal there. All right, and I think, yep, I think that's all he needs. So we've got Tyvis here, and so Tyvis, he's pretty strong if you have the right equips for him. So Tidus's Garb, so that he gets the preemptive LB boost that is effective on Tyvis. Tyvis's Cloak is nice because it gives him an extra 500 static attack. Obviously upgrade his TMR, because that thing is fantastic once it's fully upgraded. Gives him 1100 static attack, all these killers, and chain limit boost. So he actually does not need any form of chain cap boost in his kit if you have that upgraded. Crystal gloves for LB damage. Obviously equip his own STMR because you will want that for the mod boost. And then just capping up his killers and his LB damage. So weapon specialist is fantastic. So this is 7-star Furion's STMR. You should have a bunch of these lying around. They are fantastic because they give 75% physical bird and human killer, and they are stackable. You can throw as many as you want on a unit. Oh, no, it says it's not. They used to be. I feel like they used to be. Maybe they didn't. I don't know. Anyways, I gave Tyvis the vision card from my EX3 Elena. So this is just the best vision card I have for him. So his killers are max 300 bird, 300 human, 300 LB damage. Good to go. All right. So Blades of Black Flame Reagan, he is, of course, our big time breaker. He can also deal a bit of damage in his own right, so I have built him in his normal form for maximum damage. His TMR, because it gives nice flat stats. Ultimate Blade is there because we will have both a 40% Greatsword and 40% Sword Imperil, so you can kind of mix and match with him because he provides the 40% Greatsword Imperil on his LB. And the Sword Imperil obviously comes from Rain. So you can mix and match your weapons there a little bit. Ultimate Blade is nice just because it caps up his LB damage. Warlord leg guards to finish his true dual wield. And then just high attack gear in the rest of the slots. Bird killers are really all he needs. He hits human killer pretty easily, especially if you use this vision card, which you should on him. This does the ramping fire amp, which we will use. We'll be using that ramping fire amp on him so that we can kind of mix and match the elements a little bit there. All right, and then he'll use the human killer on this vision card. That helps cap up his human killer there. And yeah, so he should be capped on, I think, everything. 300 bird, 300 human, 300 LB damage. Good to go. All right, and that's everybody. And yep, everybody is resistant to paralyze and confuse. Just double check and make sure. Yep. All right. Oh, he's not, but he is in his Brave Shift form. And yeah, in his Brave Shift form, sorry, I did not cover that. So he is going to be our provoke unit for the single target death. All right, so perfect provocation, safety bit for death resist, ribbon, so that he is immune to paralyze and confuse. That's only on turn 1 that you have to worry about that. All right, and then obviously give him his STMR preemptive LB boost, so that he gets his preemptive LB boost for his own LB. All right, good. Glad I caught that. So yep, everyone's resistant. And yeah, so let's get in here and see how we get this guy done for us. So we'll do our burst on turn 5, and then we'll finish the fight on turn 6. All right, so first thing, let's just do some buffs and some mitigations. Alright, so Fina can do White Lotus Dew, Protectica, Shelga for some mitigations. Alright, Esther is going to do Electromagnetic Shield for Omni Cover, Shatterbolt for the attack and mag breaks, Energizing Bunny for some buffs. Okay, Rain is just going to guard on this turn. Alright, Reagan on this turn is going to do Defensive Barrier for the general mitigation. Soul Blazer for some elemental buffs. And fill LB, because mine's only EX1, so he doesn't come with his LB already filled, so we need to do that on this turn. Tyvis and Genesis can both just guard. They're going to guard for a few turns here. Alright. So there's the non-elemental physical and magic damage. We resist the magic damage, no problem. Alright, Esther will fill up her LB, which is good because we need to use her normal form LB on this turn. That will get rid of the Imperil Field. Alright, before Esther goes, however, I'm going to send Rain because we want to go ahead and put a stack on his LB now on this turn before we do any of our breaks, because it is critical that you do not push Hyoh below 90% HP before you do your burst on turn 5. If you push him below 90%, then on turn 4, if he is below 90% on turn 4, he will do general mitigation, and that's going to ruin your burst turn. All right, so Rain goes first before anybody else. Okay, now Esther can go. Alright, now Reagan can go. Alright, Reagan's going to do double Sword of Ares. This is to fill up Esther, so she has at least 10 LB for next turn, so that she can use her Storm Guardian. And then he's going to do Azure Crimson Opposition. This is his big 89% defense and spirit break with the 150 fire and ice. If it will show you, why are you doing that? Alright. Well, it doesn't want to show you because it's being a little bit of a pain. Long pause. There we go. Yep. So this is going to do his 89% breaks, and they will remain in place until the burst turn, so you don't have to worry about that. Okay. Tyvis and Genesis will guard again. Phoenix just going to do her LB just for stronger defense and spirit buffs for Esther. Okay, he'll do some lightning magic damage, which Esther loves, right? So she's going to absorb all of that. Alright, so on this turn, Fina's going to set up the killer buffs. Okay, so she'll do Avian Slayer, Delightful Glow. Make sure you've crowned it, right? Make sure you put 2 crowns in it for the 150% killer buff. And then she can just do like White Lotus Dew again. That's fine. Alright, Esther's going to come back to Brave Shift. She'll do Electromagnetic, Storm Guardian, and then Quantum Storm on Fina. That's in case you don't have, you know, some external form of Extreme Nova. That way she can still chain with Esther. Tyvis is going to guard again on this turn. Genesis, however, is going to come down and do Loveless Final Verse. The reason is this is going to make sure that he has full MP and a mag store for turn 6, which is the turn that we're going to need to have him kill Hyoh. Alright, so Final Verse. Reagan is going to do Crimson Steel for the ramping fire amp. Alright. This is also so that you can elemental chain with Rain. Rain on this turn is going to do Infiraga, True Undermine, and I will just do Aldor Leader. Okay, so there you can see we're taking no damage, perfectly fine. Alright, and Esther should fill her LB up again. Alright, if she comes up a little short, that's perfectly fine, because she's going to come back to normal form and do her Magnus on this turn anyways. Okay, Calm Before the Storm, so that she gets the mod boost to her LB. All right, and you see that's not enough to really, be any kind of danger of pushing the threshold or anything this turn. Fina will do her SLB. All right, Genesis, all Genesis has to do on this turn, because he's already going to have the mag store, so we don't need to do Loveless Preface. All he needs to do on this turn is Elemental Burst Fire for the 150 amp. Tyvis is going to do Time to Finish this. This, of course, requires him to be crowned, so make sure you've done his crowns. Elemental Burst Fire and Tyvis's Spirit for all the mod boosts. Alright, Reagan is going to come back to normal form. He'll do Encroaching Darkness, Elemental Burst Dark, and I'm Not the Man I Was Before for the mod boost to his LB. Alright, Rain is going to do Armor, Grant Me the Power to refill his LB, Unyielding Conviction for the Human Killer, and Elemental Burst Fire. Oh, he did Stone Go. What a jerk. Like a 30% chance of that happening. So we'll probably have a bit of damage received score knockdown, but that's fine. Not a big deal. All right, so now is our burst turn. So Tyvis obviously does LB. Genesis does Ancient Purgatory, and then LB, LB, LB. Fina will do Blazing Red Flash. All right. So the idea here is Esther and Fina are going to ramp up the chain for us. So we're going to send them first, wait for the chain to get ramped up. Then we're going to send Reagan and Rain together, followed immediately by Genesis and Tyvis. The idea is you want Reagan to supply the 40% Great Sword and Peril for Tyvis. All right, so that's why you want to send Reagan and Rain before you send Tyvis and Genesis. So their finishers are fairly quick anyway, so you don't have to worry about like missing the chain. Most important thing is just make sure the chain is ramped for Reagan and Rain, because they have the 8x chain cap. So you got to make sure they're getting maximum damage here. All right, so let's do it. So you see Hyoh Guts is out. Got a pretty good burst from Genesis there, so that should be a pretty good 21. So that's not too bad. I think my highest has been 22, but I haven't done that many. I haven't done that many rerolls. Honestly, I'm not planning on it. So, all right. So there you see Hyoh survived, obviously, because he has guts. He does a bunch of fire magic damage with a 100% imperil. That's why Esther has to have 200% fire resist in her normal form. But as you can see, we've survived. We haven't taken any kind of damage or anything like that. So now we're ready to kill. Genesis is charged up, so he'll just do Ancient Purgatory again. Esther is going to do... All right, she's just going to chain. Rain is going to re-imbue everybody because we have been dispelled. So he's going to do Infiraga, Aldor Leader for the buffs. And, I mean, we'll just do another True Undermine, I guess. All right. Reagan can just do triple Heavy Blade. Tyvis triple Flame Spurred. And Fina, she can just do triple Resolute Arrow. Okay. So yeah, we're basically just chaining it up and letting Genesis finish out the fight here. So let's see how we do. There you go. All right, and that's how you take out Phoenix Hyoh. 6 turns, with you know, no RNG, no stress, no worrying about Avatar Plus or any of that stuff. You know, it's obvious. Like I said, it's not going to get you the top of the line score. Oh, hey, we still got a damage received score, a perfect damage received score. That's pretty awesome. All right, yeah, I mean, it's not going to get you in the top 100 or 500. Like, you know, those folks are doing like 27, 28 billion on their burst turn. So this is not going to get you in the top 500. My hope is that this will keep me in the top 1,000, but who knows? I like to at least get a little bit of lapis from this, but you know, who knows? We'll see. So let's see, so Rain did pretty well. Genesis did fairly well. Tyvis rolled low. Tyvis is, I've seen him do I've seen him do 5 billion before. You know, it is what it is. Reagan did all right, you know, 2.4, I'd say that's pretty typical. He could probably go a little bit higher. Esther rolled a little bit lower than usual, I think. I think she usually does closer to like 800, but again, she's not here as a main damage dealer. She's more just here as the tank to make things easy and to help ramp up that chain on the burst turn for us. So yeah, so yeah, I mean, that's what we're doing. That's a pretty typical run for this team. You know, so if you have all that gear, you know, you're looking at probably doing, you know, 20, 21, maybe, you know, up to 22 billion. So if you've got better gear, better units, like if your Reagan is like an EX2 or EX3, he might do even better, get you even slightly higher score. So hopefully this was helpful to you guys. Thank you so much for following me. And yeah, I mean, I will certainly let you guys know when the bub comes, and that should be an exciting time. Don't expect any more Dark Visions material from me, though. This is pretty much it. I've done my one team. I am done. Now that I'm casual, I honestly don't care. I just don't care. I'm not going to go in and min-max it and try and like squeeze every last little bit of damage out of this team. So, yep, that's it. I'm done with Dark Visions. I will see you guys around and see you on the other side.